Greetings, everyone, on our webinar titled Connecting the Dots, How Integration Can Boost Your Salesforce ROI. Really happy to see so many people. My name is Yuri Biletsky, and I'll be your host for the next hour. So soon our speakers will share their insights on integrations with examples and conclusions, and afterwards we'll discuss your questions. So if you have already some, don't hesitate to type, and guys will be more than happy to answer them. But first, I believe it's better to warm up a bit. Let's go to know each other better. So please share your job title and the country in the comment section. Personally, I am Learning and Development Director from the Ukraine. If you watch us on LinkedIn, please feel free to share as well. We'll have a person that monitor it as well. So let's, guys. Not many people in the chat. All right. No worries, it won't be recorded or shared with anyone. I see. Looks not so much activity. Oh, greetings. Oh, from Canada. Pretty awesome. Welcome. Are there any other countries present here? Oh, Ukraine. Great. Oh, gorgeous, California. Ukraine. Great. All right, so we have at least two of the most important parts of the world here. Ternopil, Ukraine. Cool. All right, really nice to see so many people, as I said already. So I believe without any further ado, allow me to introduce our esteemed speakers. So Nazar and Sergiy. Nazar, please, a few words.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Nazar Grytsenko, team lead at Redtag. I've been working with Salesforce since 2015. So that's like almost 8 years. Also was involved in Mulesoft development for like 2 years. So enjoying both. And yeah, just like to spend my free time like just in an active way. That's what I would suggest everyone, as almost all of us work from the office. So yeah. You, Sergiy?
My name is Sergiy Krypak. I have experience working with Salesforce and related products since 2018. Since 2020, I'm part of Redtag team. I like scuba diving, motorcycles, and have a big collection of board games. And I have a bit of experience with third-party systems for integration. Yuri?
Yes, and just a few words about our company. Our home is Redtag. As you can see, our ultimate goal is a chance to grow, and we really do everything to our partners and clients, and even and of course our colleagues to help them grow. Their success is our success. Just a few facts in numbers. So we're already 10 years old, and every year was related to Salesforce. So we have quite a big pack of experience. We have more than 100 employees, We are proud partners of more than 29 companies. We have one Salesforce MVP in the house. Actually, more than 500 projects were executed with us. And actually, one of the most we are proud of is actually 5 stars on App Exchange. So feel free to visit it. And I believe now we can go to the most important topic, that why you are here. Sergiy, please, stage is yours.
Yeah. So starting from the basics, what is integration and why everybody needs it? Yuri, next slide. So nowadays in our world, everybody is using lots of different services. All of them could be connected with integration to streamline processes, to enhance data accuracy, and to connect everything together to work as one. Yuri, next slide. Thank you. So what are the main benefits of integration? Humans make mistakes. On my projects, I sometimes lovingly call them meatbags. The thing is, when you connect something technologically without human errors involved, you enhance data accuracy and you improve efficiency. It happens either in real time or based on a solid schedule. Integrations allow you to expand functionalities. If you have, for example, Salesforce and Task Manager working separately, they are limited by the systems themselves. But when you combine them and connect them, you get much better results of them working together. As a result, you get improved user experience in most cases. A simple case, if you have your ERP system connected to your e-commerce, in real time, a client would know that something is out of stock and won't have an ability to order it, to later receive an email that, sorry, this is unavailable or something like that. And if everything is working properly, it is a real competitive advantage. Yuri, next slide, please. As I said, we in our world nowadays use lots and lots of different services. Different clients use different systems, and most of them, at least the most popular ones, and there are hundreds of them, can be integrated. Some have direct pre-built connections, some just have API interface with the help of which we can integrate them with each other. So those include project and task management, communication services, document management, ERP systems, even custom built solutions, if they were built with API and RESTful capabilities in mind, they could and should, in my opinion, be integrated with everything else your business is using. Yuri, next slide, please. So I myself group the integrations into 3 basic types. The way your business process could be integrated and what instruments and what integrations to be used always depends on many different factors. And our goal today is to tell you about different methods, so you could maybe judge for yourself what is the best way for you. So the most basic ones, which sometimes have a very big impact, sometimes little, are pre-built native integrations. I bundle together here everything like connections between different Salesforce clouds, like sales and marketing, which connects with built-in functions just from the setup. Or something a bit more complex, like connecting external file systems like Google Drive or OneDrive if a company is using Microsoft, Most of document management can be grouped with pre-built integrations. They excel at doing one thing perfectly, but rarely have room to customize. And in the next group, everything that can be connected with third-party integrations. I am going to talk about Workato and Make mainly during this webinar, but most of these systems are very similar. They just have internally different interfaces and some capabilities, but a lot of them have hundreds of systems ready to be connected with pre-made connections. These allow for a more complex approach, still without code and development. They are good at being simple. Anyone without development background can use them for their basic needs, but most of them have capability to be expanded with custom code. Mulesoft, about which Nazar is going to talk in detail later, is a mix of everything. It can be highly customized with code. It has a lot of simplified capabilities which can be used without very deep knowledge. And one of the main benefits, it's pre-built, it's in the Salesforce environment. So Nazar will talk about it later. And you can always custom code something if you have the budget and technical capability. That custom integration would probably suit your needs in the best way, but the question remains, is it scalable? Is it easily customizable afterwards, after implementation? So those are the different types. Yuri, next slide, please. So native pre-built integrations. There are different use cases, apart from what I already told, external file storage, email integration, social media integration. You can, for example, connect your calendar and integrate it within Salesforce. I'm not talking only about something which you can see from inside Salesforce in this case. I consider integrations on different platforms connecting to Salesforce also. If you just install the extension for Gmail and authorize it inside Salesforce, you already receive a very good boost for the users to be able to use those emails, and the information will be available and stored in Salesforce if everything is working properly. AppExchange has lots of different pre-built packages for these purposes for different systems, which are tailored for some specific purposes. Some of them are more customizable, some are less. Next slide, please. So Make.com and Workato, those are two of lots of different systems. Here on this slide, I have the names of more integration third-party services, and this is not a full list. There are lots of them, and they are very similar, but at the same time a bit different in their nature and interface. They can be used for a more complex and customizable integration, like project management, for invoicing, for data enrichment, event management, for example, the information we could be receiving during this webinar could be connected to our marketing campaigns in Salesforce, and these data can be used in further analysis. Just an example. The specifics of those systems are different in a way how they calculate your costs. So everybody has their own price list, and everybody calculates how you consume the resources which are provided to you differently. And those should be evaluated if you are choosing which system to use. Next slide, please. The interfaces can differ, but the main thing remains the same. We have some event which triggers something, and we pre-program what actions should be taken in what systems, and we can use the data we're getting from those different systems. They can branch out, we can implement different logic with them. So Workato is a very enterprise-like service. It's not cheap, but it can do a lot. Make and Zapier are cheaper, but more simple and less complex, and allow less customization. So that could be one of the factors for choosing between those. Zapier is a bit older, but I have to give credits to those guys. They are still developing and enriching their ecosystem. Give the next slide, please. So some of the cases I could display, those are very simple. They can be a lot more complicated. But for example, we have Salesforce. In Salesforce, we have opportunities which we close and win. And we won in this case for QuickBooks to create invoices. It is very simply implemented with, for example, make.com. It's formerly known as Integrators. We are listening to events in Salesforce, and we're getting account information when something happens with an opportunity and it is closed one. And we send the signal to QuickBooks to create the invoice with account data also included in it, because QuickBooks also lists your clients. So that is needed for the invoice. The logic would be a lot more complicated. We could include feedback data back to Salesforce that the invoice was created. And if something happens to that invoice, we could automate some events in Salesforce also. Next slide, please. Another use case, if you're connecting Salesforce with the project management system, is ROI. For example, and this is a real life example where, from my experience, opportunities need to have a project in ROI with dedicated tasks for users. The idea is that a company has 100 sales representatives, but support personnel counts in hundreds. And to optimize expenses, and nowadays we're all about optimizing our expenses, we judge that, okay, support personnel will not have dedicated Salesforce licenses. They are working in project management environment. So next slide, please. A new opportunity is created in Salesforce. This example is shown for Workato. We listen and are triggered when this happens. A project is created in ROI in predetermined folder or environment there, and we have already planned which tasks will be needed and opened and assigned to specific users in ROI. This can be very useful in itself, but the next part of the second case, next slide, please. Would be to receive feedback on those tasks back inside Salesforce. So in this case, our triggering event, next slide, please, would be back in ROI. So when those tasks are completed, we can either wait for a very simple recipe or automation, how they're called in different systems, for every task to be completed, and then update data in the opportunity in Salesforce and inform sales representative that it's actionable, or we can do it in real time and have updates for every task. but that would be a bit more complicated scenario here, but still doable without any development background. You just need to apply a bit of logic, and this works. Scenarios can be much more complicated with lots of different branches, with lots of different cases, and all this logic can still be implemented inside Workato. What's the value? In RIKE, you are very limited in what you can automate using logic. And even before you reach Salesforce in your integration, you can already apply lots of logic, which was unavailable in RIKE before. Next slide, please. So, as I already said, pricing works differently for different services. Nowadays, Workato is not publishing their prices, but allegedly quotes are from 10,000–15,000 annually. And the sky is the limit, of course, with such systems. But for a big enterprise, that could be around 50,000. It all depends on the negotiations. Nowadays, you can't receive a free account automatically, but they will easily provide it to you if you contact them. And those have 100 transactions of a month for free. Which difference very much from Make and Zapier? They count every operation within the automation. So something triggered, that's one. We apply some logic, that's two. You need some action to be taken in a different systems, that's three. And you have 1,000 operations per month in Make for free, or starting from $108 annually, not monthly. You can have tens and hundreds of thousands, depending on your budget. Zapier is very similar, but those tasks are just 100 per month. That's a bit limiting, but that's for a bigger transaction than in Integrators. An interesting example in the world of third-party integrations is a service called Pipedream. They still count operations, they still count those, but daily. But the main thing which they value is runtime of their servers. So they actually calculate how much runtime any particular automation takes. And that's the main limiting factor there. And contrasting to that, Workato, if you buy it, you basically have not unlimited, but very broad limits. And even if you have a limited amount of transactions, they count the whole transaction, which can last for an hour, automating downloads and a lot of stuff. So that's my take on third-party integrations. And now I will give floor to Nazar to talk about Mulesoft.
Yeah, thanks, Sergiy. Yeah, let's talk a bit about Mulesoft, and let's have a look at the use case, which may seem similar to what we've discussed right now, but with the bigger scale and higher need for customization. Almost all companies, especially large enterprises, need to connect all their applications, databases, and other systems. They may sometimes even need to develop their own highly customizable public APIs that can be hosted on either virtual or physical servers. All these APIs and integrations, they need to be governed by a comprehensive framework for managing, securing, optimizing the flow of data between those different systems. So on the next slide, we will see the high-level description of such use case, but a very good solution to this use case maybe implementing those APIs and integrations on platforms like Mulesoft. So Mulesoft is a unified platform for building, managing, and monitoring integrations and APIs, of course. So Mulesoft's Anypoint platform offers a wide range of tools and services to simplify the integration process. It also includes a lot of pre-built connectors and templates, like the third-party integrations. Also, Mulesoft encourages building integrations using microservice architecture for better stability and extendability. Next slide, please. So you may often see Mulesoft next to Salesforce. That's simply because Salesforce acquired Mulesoft like 5 years ago. But yeah, these two platforms, Salesforce and Mulesoft, become more and more integrated into each other. You can already install some packages from Salesforce side to easier invoke Mulesoft integrations. And also Salesforce in the future plans to start using some scripting languages from Mulesoft. So Salesforce will be able to use some scripting languages, which Mulesoft uses almost in any integration. So let's go to the next slide. And yeah, let's have a look at this close to real life example. So yeah, we can have some healthcare organization which has lots of different systems, including electronic medical records, patient software, and any amount of billing systems. So Mulesoft suggests building such a big integration according to microservice architecture, as I mentioned. This is generally used an integration network. Of course, we can build all that using one big monolithic application, but according to Mulesoft best practices, it's better to have lots of smaller applications so that we can easier maintain them, in easier reuse any so in general, let's go to the next slide. And yeah,
Nazar, really sorry, but we are losing you from time to time.
Yeah. So yeah, now you hear me.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, yeah. So let's have a look at the features of Mulesoft. One of them is DataView. It's a powerful scripting language which helps transforming data between systems. And also, if needed, you can utilize Java language for more complex integrations and more complex transformations. Mulesoft is more cloud native, which means that you can integrate your your applications into that network and have very good combination of tasks. Also,
Nazar, are you still with us? I'm sorry, Jeffrey, but it looks we have a small technical issue. Let's pause for a second.
yes, if you hear me.
Yeah, we can
Have
finally.
some technical problems with my connection. Yeah, if we can try to continue. Yeah, so I mentioned a few features, and like the next of them is Anypoint platform. Anypoint platform just allows us to monitor our applications. All of them will be deployed there, and you will monitor all the statuses, everything, what you already built there. Runtime tuning that can care of all the performance ourselves. By just changing different features and allocating and so on to this. Let's go to the next slide, please. Here we can see how we develop the Mulesoft part. So it is just an IDE where we can do any kind of human readable flows, which will do all our work for us. So in general, we can extend them with code to any extent, and then deploy them to our on-premises servers or to Cloud Hub, which is the hosting service provided by Mulesoft. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, and here we have our runtime manager, where we can see all our applications which are up and running also check where we can see all the logs, where we can see all the statuses of our applications, and also where we can do all the performance tuning, which I mentioned previously. And let's go to the next slide. So yeah, here, as I mentioned, we can have a look at different statuses of our application, check how many had. We can check the so we can see all the technical, which is behavior, which can be really helpful for performance tuning. And let's go next. Yeah, and also we see different other features of Mulesoft. So if possible, yeah, we can use any of them. Also, some of them can be bought for additional price, but yeah, all that depends on your pricing model. So let's go to the next slide. So pricing is quite negotiable with Mulesoft, but in general, the main part of it is buying the vCores, which are the virtual servers where you can run your applications. So application be done on a wide range of vCore size. So start 0.1 vCore to 8 vCores per by 1 vCore for 5,000 a year. You can run 10 applications with 0.1 vCores, or run one bigger application with just 1 vCore, but you can buy more vCores and run more applications with different sizes and so on. In general, I saw that clients on 0.1 vCores, and that's enough to process up to 100 minutes. But of course, that depends requests and many other features. So go to the next slide.
Sergiy, could you?
Well, I am very sorry, Nazar is experiencing technical problems. For comparison between Mulesoft and other third-party integrations, as far as I understand, Mulesoft allows for vast and very complex data transformations using Java, using data weave, using advanced data formats. You can transform data within Workato or other third-party integrations. It's much more simplified, as those systems are mainly focused on less technically able users, but you can use formulas. Workato allows for limited Ruby syntax. If you are familiar with those, so it is possible to transform data. The catch is all different systems use different formulas and syntaxes. Nazar? Okay. Mulesoft allows on-premises options for its usage. Apart from cloud platform support, I'm actually not very familiar with those processes, but in the world of third-party services, on-premises options are more of an exception. Workato has an option for on-premises access, but that's a different pricing category in itself. But it is possible. But most of those services are just cloud-based. Mulesoft allows for modern CI/CD processes for automated testing and version control. So for those who are familiar with common development best practices, it's all available in Mulesoft. Third-party integrations not focused on developers themselves. So there is versioning available in most of them. You can export and import different versions of your automations. Higher price plans allow for teamwork, where you can track who is doing what and what changes were made by whom in particular. But that is more process based on standards and teamwork than mechanical CI/CD. As Nazar has shown, integration management in Mulesoft is a very powerful set of tools. The Anypoint platform, you can monitor the activities in real time using most of those instruments. In most of third-party integrations, limited compared to Mulesoft management is available. You can track what kind of connections are connected to what kind of automations. You can easily review and bug fix with the logs of the transactions that has been happening. You can monitor those. And as these systems track very closely how much of something you are doing, they have a lot of data to show you. Well, we both talked about pricing. As Nazar said, 30K per year as a start for Mulesoft. With third-party integrations, I had a lot of mini projects where everything was done using just basic free packages, and this sometimes can be a lifesaver, but those systems are very scalable. If you are planning to use those and save money on custom development, they can be really scalable and can cost a lot as a result. Mulesoft is mostly focused on development and can be and should be used for complex projects. Third-party services are mostly focused on more simple stuff, but they're still scalable and very much usable. If you're using some more robust systems like Workato, it allows to create custom connections to services which were never available in the first place. And you can customize what API is doing apart from the standard functionality which was provided at the start.
Right. Sorry, may I take the stage?
Yeah, I think you should.
Thank you. So, bottom line, to sum up quickly, what we understood, Integrations in current world is basically must-have, because if you want to achieve squeeze out maximum and achieve efficiency of your processes, you need to pick a good tool for every stage, for every process. And here goes integration first. And we have plenty of ways to do integration, and we don't need to be afraid of it. It's not something horrible, but in Salesforce world, sometimes could be already pre-built. Sometimes we can do some use some third-party services. Sometimes we can go with hard custom coding, of course. But even third parties integrations help us really a lot, and we have a variety of options with pros and cons depending on our needs. And we see, for example, that for a relatively small and easy one, we can use like Workato and Integrators that actually align with the best practices, and they provide a set of tools to support it easily, maintain easily, and extend easily. On most third-party services, you just simply go with some kind of, you just simply build a small like block diagram flow and set it up step by step. And same goes both for Workato, Integrators, and same to Mulesoft. But of course, depending on our needs, how often we need to send data, how much data, how actually we want to build our system. Is it pretty complex and it have numerous subsystems that we need to combine? Of course, then Mulesoft go on a stage. If we have pretty simple processes, Workato Integrators is our choice, or they are neighbors, right? So later on we'll share this comparison table to you. So hopefully it will be useful for correct architecture selection. That was the main our goal. And moving further, just one word about our partners, Unbroken. As you know, for Ukraine, these years are not the easiest one, but this organization really helps people and save lives a lot. So we encourage you to use this QR code to learn a bit more, and maybe you can help them to help and save the world and make a bit better place. So please feel free to scan this QR code. And we are slowly moving to our Q&A session. Here, of course, you can find contacts of our speakers and ask them any questions after this webinar. But maybe let's take opportunity and speak to them in live mode. And please put your questions into the chat section. We'll be reading it and our guest will be answering them. And I already see first question.
Yeah, I could take that. So Maxim is asking if which tool is better to use on some not too complex integration of Salesforce and the third-party system, Mulesoft, or one of that I mentioned. Well, it depends. Like with all those questions, it depends. It depends if you are planning to scale into something really complex and custom. If not, the way you phrase that question seems that third-party integration like Make, Integrators formerly, could be used. Also, it depends on the requirements themselves. Some of those systems are better suited price-wise for scheduled triggers. If you just need to synchronize data on a daily basis, you are better off with systems which count transactions as a whole and run them daily. Make counts every operation and is better suited for real-time triggers. So every time something happens, you already are acting on it on the fly. Okay, sandbox, that's from Nazar.
Yeah, I believe it's from Nazar.
So if you hear me well, just apologies for those technical problems. So yes, we do have sandbox environments in Mulesoft. we don't have any limitations. So on sandboxes, for our APIs, we also assign some vCore sizes, and they can just be smaller for sandboxes. So yeah, you just pay for those additional vCores to maintain the sandbox infrastructure. So it's all the same, and all the limits apply just to your memory consumption and other computing power consumption.
All right. And while Nazar is still with us, I see another question to him. Could you please tell again what vCore is?
So vCore is like you can buy them in those vCore quantities. So for example, if you buy one vCore, that means that you can allocate this vCore to one application, for example, which will have this one vCore size. It will mean that you are going to use, I believe, 2 or 4 gigabytes of memory, and also some amount of processing power. So it means that the processor which will be assigned to your application will have some particular size. And if needed, you can distribute this one vCore between 10 applications, for example, with size of 0.1 vCore, or between 5 applications with 0.2 vCores. So this is like just some measurement of how much computing power do you need for maintaining your integration network. Yeah, so that's it.
Thank you, Nazar. Hopefully that answers the question. And the next one goes to Sergiy, I believe. Can you see execution logs of automation in Workato make? For how long? As it was already shown, similar to Mulesoft.
Yeah, well, most of these systems keep logs. Some systems keep them for a bit longer with details. For specific example, Workato keeps the logs with the data within the execution for 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. And after that, you can still see that those executions were happening, but the specifics become unavailable after 3 weeks. So if you want to fix those bugs, you have 3 weeks to do that with details. Later, you'll need to dig or recreate those cases. Most of other systems also have logs for debugging, which also share this feature that they are not perpetual. All these services save on space used. So in a few weeks, they will be gone. I mean, the details, you will still see that this or that specific automation was having errors. Yuri?
Thank you, Sergiy. And I believe our last question, can you import and export automation scenarios recipes?
It depends on the system. It depends on whether the package you purchased is free or you really paid money for that. But in most of those systems, you can export and transplant those recipes between different environments. For CI/CD purposes, I actually would not recommend splitting your Workato or Make environments. You can have both your sandbox and production connections all on the same system and keep them on separate projects. That way, instead of redeploying your automations, you just switch the connections. But those systems between which you switch them should be in sync in this case, or you are going to have errors.
All right. Thank you, Sergiy. And based on the time, I believe it would be the last question. Is service like Trello available as connector in Make Workato? I believe it can be related for many task management systems. Guys, what would you advise?
Specifically with Trello, I have experience with using both app in Trello itself to view some standard Salesforce object and building on top of that. So the app in Trello was manual. You needed to export a link from Salesforce to create a card, which was nicely styled and was actually pulling data from Salesforce for standard fields. We just expanded on that, automating the creation of those cards for specific conditions in Salesforce. So there was a dedicated desk in Trello where those cards were created automatically. So combined approaches sometimes work very well. And those so popular systems like Trello, they are a must in most of those systems. So both Make and Workato and Pipedream and Zapier, they all have connection to Trello.
And for Mulesoft as well, I know that they have Trello connector. So I believe almost any popular platforms, systems, are also available.
Great. I believe it's more than an extended answer for the question. And we are just about in time. Allow me to thank you very much for everyone joining us, our speakers, our guests. Hopefully it was the same interesting and useful for you as it was for me. And once again, welcome you to ask any questions and contact our honored speakers. Here are the contacts. And see you soon in our next webinar. Thanks once again.